how many people we have here. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay, and that makes Elizabeth as first, and I see a second with Ben. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Minutes are approved. Okay. Moving forward here, now I'm realizing I'm looking at the March agenda. I've got a new pair of glasses, bear with me, and they are, I don't know, we have to look down at the glass and up at the glass. Progressives, that's what it is. As my daughter says, I'm getting progressively older. All right, so looking at my glasses here.
They're a little hard to get used to.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a little bit of a time bubble here. All right, are there any requests for continuance? How about any non-agenda public comment? Okay, if not, we'll move forward with the Friends of the Library report. Welcome, Joan and Anne. How are you, Joan? Take it away.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the 42nd annual meeting of the Friends of the San Diego Public Library took place on Saturday, March 13th, and this was a virtual meeting. Library Director Misty Jones, our featured speaker, provided a well-received presentation on the numerous ways the library has pivoted to provide services. Brief updates were also provided by San Diego Public Library Foundation CEO Patrick Stewart, who encouraged participation in the community survey for the updated library master plan, and library shop manager Scott Eric Burgess, who highlighted some of the creative programs the shop has been engaged in during the pandemic. 3 new board members were elected and 2 board members were re-elected to second terms. The FSDPL board met several days ago and approved a $35,000 donation to matching funds directed toward the area or areas of greatest need. We very much appreciate the financial challenges our organization and individual chapters are facing related to greatly reduced income during the past year plus. Nonetheless, in view of the significant shortfall in matching funds donations so far this fiscal year, we are encouraging our Friends chapters to also consider donations to support their individual associated branch libraries. So we're hoping, Patrick and I are going to be touching base about this, I think tomorrow afternoon to sort of strategize. And the FSDPL board also approved a donation to the foundation to help support our joint library advocacy efforts, something we've done the past several years, and we really want to keep doing it because it's more important than ever, I would say. Of course, we say that every year, but this year I think it really is. And also, we are very pleased to announce the John McAllister Memorial Library Scholarship Award winners for 2021. Claudia Apodaca, who's a library assistant 3 at the San Isidro branch, and Anya Kuzma, who's a library assistant 2 at College Rolando, have each been awarded a $1,000 scholarship. These are offered to staff members enrolled in a college certificate program or a degree program in library science, information management, or a related field. Both of these individuals are working toward an MLIS from San Jose State University. As there were no applicants for the conference scholarships offered to staff for registration at the virtual ALA June conference, which also included a 1-year ALA membership, the funds that had been allocated for this purpose were shifted to support a second educational scholarship. I want to thank again Bob Cronk for his assistance in getting the word out to staff, and to Misty Jones and Raul Gudino for their help in working out the logistics for providing conference scholarships to staff. Even though we weren't able to take advantage of it this year, it's something we want to keep in mind for the future. And we finally have news to report on the book sale front, which is very exciting for our chapters and volunteers. After a 14-month hiatus in Friends book sales and used bookstores because of the pandemic, several chapters are now planning in-person book sales during the next few weeks. These will be held outdoors following well-defined safety procedures. I imagine they're going to be very scaled down relative to previous sales. The greater friends will not be engaging in this. We don't have an appropriate space. We're looking at non-library options for that type of activity, and have some possible partnerships in mind. But our online book sales do continue to bring in some income for both the greater friends and several of our chapters. The next monthly meeting of the combined FSDPL board with the chapter presidents or representatives is scheduled for this coming Saturday, April 10th. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Great report, Joan. And again, thank you to the continued generosity of the Friends. You know, the Friends have not missed a beat and have always stepped up in whatever way possible. You know, the continued matching funds, the advocacy grants, the scholarships, and now how very exciting for the outside book sales. So our regards to everyone, all of the Friends. It's really meaningful, and I know that the library really appreciates it. So great report. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to the foundation report. Come on down, Patrick.
Awesome. Good afternoon. It's good seeing everyone. I'll make this rather quick, but first I do want to extend a thank you to all of you and to Joan for all of the support on the helping us to get the word out about the community survey. And, you know, we were able to, as Joan said, make a presentation at the annual meeting and then again at another Friends monthly meeting, which I think was very, very helpful. So really my update today is about the community survey. I just checked our numbers. Right now we have about 6,400 responses, and this is significant. The group that we're working with, Group 4, that's been working with us on the development of the master plan, whom you all met at the December 2019 meeting, you know, they have extensive experience in this area and have been working with other large municipalities in the development of their master plans and their community engagement phases, and working with other, you know, cities and planning departments and whatnot. And we were really kind of told to expect about 2,000, 2,500 or so responses. And Misty and I said, nope, we're going to take that as a challenge. And so we have 6,400 responses. We'll probably end up with about 7,000 responses, which again, really tells me that a significant number of our friends and neighbors really do want to weigh in on the development of their city library. We're going to keep the community survey open until April 17th. And so we have another 10 days left. In the time that we saw you last, Misty and I have made about a dozen presentations. So this includes the Friends annual meeting, a Friends monthly meeting, organizations like the Claremont Town Council, the Talmadge Kensington Planning Board, the Oak Park Town Council, the larger Community Planners Committee, which was a really fantastic meeting and got a lot of really great feedback. And we were able to, you know, with meetings like that, address, you know, almost the entire city in one fell swoop. This afternoon, or this evening, I think it is, we're meeting with the Ocean Beach Planning Board or Ocean Beach Town Council and stuff. So we've had a lot of really great feedback, a lot of great responses, and enthusiastic turnouts to the visits that we've made. I want to quickly thank, so speaking of getting the word out, I want to quickly also thank librarians Catherine Johnson from Logan, who spoke with the Logan Community School leadership. Then the school, after she spoke, the school then made completing the survey an extra credit assignment, which is really great, especially considering we are underrepresented in age groups up to 29 years old, really across the survey. There's about 4.8% of 6,400 respondents that identify 29 years or younger. Jennifer Guerin at City Heights spoke of the survey in a Zoom meeting with the San Diego Continuing Education Department. And Addie Huertas has been including the survey in her regular Spanish story times on local radio. I don't know the station, but you know, it has certainly helped getting the word out. We've also conducted 2 focus groups. I think I might have mentioned that part of the community engagement phase includes the community survey, series of focus groups, and then a series of public comment and a public feedback period. We've already gotten started with the focus groups. We've conducted 2 so far. We have 15 in total that we will conduct. And 2 of those focus groups are designed specifically to engage younger people, and we're working with like Barrio Logan College Institute and some groups down in Logan Heights. So that's already starting to provide some deeper insight. And then the other quick thing that I wanted to give an update on is our advocacy efforts along with the Friends. We have been requested to send 280 advocacy toolkits, and this year's advocacy toolkits includes 10 pre-stamped postcards to be sent to the 9 city council members and the mayor's office. So that's almost 3,000 postcards, and the mayor's budget hasn't even come out yet. We have a new round of postcards. We have an advocacy committee meeting scheduled, special meeting scheduled next Friday, which I believe is a day or 2 after the mayor's budget comes out. And then along with the Friends, it is full press through the rest of the spring. So we're looking forward to sharing all the outcomes with you all from the community engagement phase. I don't know how much data we're going to have distilled come May for you, but I will be able to provide some higher insight from the community survey and the focus groups as to where we're at then. And then our goal again continues to, within a couple of months or so after that, be able to present the phase 1 draft to you all before it goes any further. So with that, thank you again for all of your support. You know, we hear from all corners where our support comes from in getting this done, and much of that comes from you all. So thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, happy to answer. And then always, you know, feel free to get in touch with me at any time throughout the month.
Thank you, Patrick. Great. I mean, those are really impressive numbers on the survey results so far. So thank you to Patrick and Misty Roadshow and everyone else for promoting it. You know, think about the number of emails that you get a day and the number of things you're asked to respond to. And sometimes it's really easy just to say, you know, survey, okay, well, you know, it's not a have to, right? Like I have to do this for my child, or I have to do this for my work. And, you know, it can often seem like one more thing to do. So I think those are really, really impressive numbers, but I know we worked hard for those numbers. So congratulations. I'm just feeling for you on all those being in Zoom jail for all those presentations, or just coordinating to show up at all of those planning meetings and whatnot that are often, you know, late in the evening or early in the day. And so congratulations on that group effort. Really exciting, Patrick.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Patrick on his report before I move on? All right, let's move forward then to the consent agenda. We have our report on library construction projects, and it's now time for
so you know, it's the same. It's Pacific Highlands Ranch is moving forward. The bid, you know, they extended the bidding and bid opening to early April, but it's still, I don't think that that's going to move it off track, off schedule. So we're still moving ahead on that. Scripps Miramar Ranch Library parking lot expansion is moving ahead. As we know, that's a very busy branch that does not have very big parking lots. So that is going to be expanded, and it's in the final design phase. And then one thing I did want to, that's not on the list, but I wanted to let you all know, is that we got an email earlier this week that the San Carlos, that the remediation of that piece of land, they are recommending that they close the case on that and deem that that piece of property is clean. It will take about 6 months for them to remove all of the buried equipment and finalize all the paperwork. So we still have a little bit of a ways to go before the city purchases that piece of land, but that's good news because, that's been a very long and painful process that we kept hearing one more year, and for 10 years, one more year. So it is finally done. So we are good to go. I'll just keep on with the update. The College Rolando parking lot, I told you all about this last month, and that is that, we have a development that's next door to that, to the College Rolando Library. The owner of that piece of property was originally going to build a hotel. He has gone back and wants it rezoned for high density housing. The community is not crazy about that idea, in particular because it really will have an impact on the parking for the library. We currently have a joint use parking agreement with them that would work really well if it was a hotel. I'm not sure that that's going to be a great agreement if it's high density housing. So we are really, working with the mayor's office and council district 9 on just alternatives for ways that we can work with the developer and his team to come up with a more permanent solution to protect the parking at the library. But I'll keep you updated on that. It's National Library Week, so always super excited about that. And there's a lot of really very cool things that are going on, but one of them, and you all should have gotten a copy, and if you have not, let me know, because we did mail you a copy, and this is Odie's Library Day. It is an English and Spanish bilingual that was actually written by one of our library assistants partner, and it was illustrated by Nisi Bygood, who works at the North Claremont branch library. Addie Huertas translated it into Spanish. The team had, this was their idea. They wanted a book for outreach purposes, could not think of a title that really just appealed to all of them, and thought, how about we just write our own? So ODI is ODI, which stands for Opportunity, Discovery, and Inspiration, which is our vision statement. But it's all about their first trip to the library, getting their library card, visiting the maker space, building a kite, and then taking that kite to the park to fly it. So it's a really, really cool. And did you all get your copies? We mailed you all copies. So yay, awesome. But we are going to start giving those out. Mayor Gloria is actually going to read the story tomorrow to launch as celebrating National Library Week, and also to announce the UT's Festival of Books. The library shop will sell the book. We're working on getting a little plush Odie that could go along with the book, and then hopefully potentially have a costume for a mascot done so that we can just, man, I'm going to take this to the umpteenth level. So we are super excited. And I've been sitting on this announcement for months about to bust because they wouldn't let me announce it.
Who will be Odie? Who will be in the Odie suit?
Love it. The PB Pacific Beach Library, you may remember it's probably been a couple of years ago, they came to you all wanting to do a curfew for the park adjacent. That was approved by council yesterday. So that will be going into effect, and that is a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew in the park adjacent to the library, and then also 2 other parks in Pacific Beach. And so we'll be working on the signage for that, but I thank you for your support because that went a long way in getting it approved. What else have I got? Oh, the big thing is the budget. How could I forget the budget? So the budget will be released by the mayor next week. The proposal that we put forward is going to be included in the budget. And so that is the the elimination of the Sunday and Monday hours, but adding the materials budget, training, programming budget, piloting the Open Plus project. The Open Plus quote came back a little cheaper than we thought, so we have the opportunity to possibly do more than 3 locations. I think we'll start with 3 and see how it works and then expand out. But the foundation, I've talked to Patrick, and they are, excited about, if it does work, helping us expand that to some other libraries so that we can at least have one in each council district that has that. And I think that's just a great way just to expand the access for people a little bit beyond the open hours. We are, it still goes to council and everything, so we still have to go through the hearings. Looks like our hearing is going to be May 6th. That's what I'm hearing. So far, I don't know what time of day yet, but I think it'll be May 6th. And it'll be a Zoom meeting this year. Just like, I think we'll be there in person, but no one else. Everybody else will be Zoom just like last year. So, but I feel comfortable. The mayor feels comfortable. And I just think it's a great opportunity, again, like I said, to restructure, to, and as we add hours back, to add them back with benefited and a more stable workforce, and really, do some right sizing the way that we should be running the department. What I'm finding in been talking to other libraries, and it's interesting because there are a lot of libraries that are really rethinking their hours. And if they're going to reopen with the same amount of hours, or if they're really gonna, because the virtual programming was so popular, and curbside pickup services and things, if we're gonna, you're starting to see libraries really think of a different service model. So this is the time I feel like to, take advantage of a crisis and do things and restructure. So we'll see how that plays out. But that is the update. And then I will, if you don't have any questions, anybody have any questions? No. Okay. So the first thing on the agenda that I want to announce, and I don't think I announced this because it wasn't official, but we have chosen a deputy director. Raul Godinho is officially Deputy Director of Library Operations. So
the library will be closing in 5 minutes for cleaning. Please proceed to the exits.
Wonderful news.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Raul. Well deserved. Well done.
Yes, so really excited to officially have him in that role. And then our new program manager for innovation and community engagement is finally on board. Monday was his first day. So I want to introduce you to Oscar Gittemeyer. He is coming to us from he's previously at the Atlanta Fulton Public Library and also the Teton County Library in Wyoming. But I want to just give him an opportunity just to tell you a little bit about himself, but we are beyond excited to have him. Oscar?
Thank you so much, y'all. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be in San Diego right now at this pivotal moment. And it is a gorgeous sunny day, so I apologize for the poor lighting. I'll work on that. But I just want to say I had a great time in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. If you've ever been there, it's a great city. I had the opportunity to work on a Best Buy Teen Tech Center grant in our library and a lot of other STEAM grants. I also worked closely with the small business associations and the chambers. So I was really excited to see so many of you are involved in the chamber here, in the small business associations. Those were a great community partnership in Atlanta to really help us bring in funding and dollars to the library in Atlanta. I'm sure it does the same here in San Diego. I'm really excited to work with Comic Con. I worked with Dragon Con in Atlanta, so that'll be fun to work on here as well. And then also I'm super passionate about equity, diversity, inclusion, and I just love that a lot of those initiatives are already here. They're already happening in San Diego, so I'm excited to jump in on that. And I also worked a lot on statewide associations. So I was heavily involved in the Georgia Library Association, served on their executive team organizing our statewide continuing education conferences and trainings. So I've already joined the California Library Association, and I'll be getting involved with them soon and figuring out what everyone's doing all over the state. But I'm a passionate hiker and biker. So if you have any recommendations for me, I've got Torrey Pines on my bucket list. But if you know of any other good ones I should hit, please let me know. And I'll be hitting the PCT as well. That's been on my bucket list, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, just thank you so much for having me, and I'm really excited to get going.
Welcome to San Diego, Oscar. We're really glad to have you. Love your impressive background. You, Misty said, the best library in the world, and huge congratulations as well to Raul. We're just thrilled. What an amazing team Misty continues to promote and put together, and so welcome. And Lake Hodges inland has some lovely hiking trails. Great. Thank you, Oscar. Good stuff, Misty.
I know we have a dream team going on here, and it's really, really exciting. Oscar's already, he's been here 3 days and has already given us a lot of really great ideas. Just kind of hit the ground running. So thrilled to have him. All right, so the next on the agenda is just to give you an update on what's going on with the City Heights Performance Annex. We are finishing up the business plan. So actually the business plan was due to Price Charities last week. We just had our closeout meeting for the first phase right before this meeting. And we will be, I told you we had contracted with Victoria Saunders, who did the business plan for us, and we're going to continue to engage her for this next phase and really helping us look at, one, keeping the project on track, and then help us look at funding and how we're going to fund. And we're going to do, some big things with that and want to keep the momentum going. But, this was an inter-organizational committee. So it was San Diego Public, it was the foundation, it was the Commission for Arts and Culture, it was Price Charities was on board. So it really was a lot of organizations coming together. And the Urban Village it's a public-private partner redevelopment project, actually, that was funded by Saul Price in the early 2000s, and it resulted in the construction of the library, the outdoor amphitheater, the black box theater, a park, a playground, the recreation center, a Head Start. The City Heights Town Council has a space in there. So it was kind of this all-encompassing, really village of services for the City Heights community. And the two pieces that the library is really heavily involved in are the Performance Annex, which consists of the Black Box Theater and it's a office space that sits behind the theater that has been empty with really nothing going on except the town council in there for many, many years. And as I said, previously, the library department has never had the capacity to really, see this asset to its full potential. And so we wanted to bring someone in that would do focus groups and talk to other communities and really help us come up with a way that we can, rethink how we operate this space and let it be the asset that that community deserves. So, City Heights, she's found out so much really interesting information as she's been doing this project. That City Heights has, it has 16 different neighborhoods actually within City Heights. The population is 74,000, and 25% of that population are youth under the age of 18. So City Heights is the highest population density in San Diego. And we knew that from the matching fund exercise that we did. It's our branch that has the largest service population, but also has the lowest median household income in San Diego. So it is really one of those communities of need. It has a large population. There's many refugees from Latin America, from Asia and Africa. It actually is the second largest concentration of East African immigrants in the United States. So as you can imagine, that means that it's a very culturally diverse area, and there's a lot of festivals that go on. There, a lot of them have used the park, Officer Jeremy Henwood Memorial Park that sits behind the Annex. And the black box was actually designed to facilitate that cultural and community programming. But it had an emphasis, it has a sprung floor. So there's always been an emphasis on dance for that space. And interestingly enough, the architect's wife was a dancer. And so that is why he designed it that way with that sprung floor. But we've had a lot of theatrical programs and music programs in there. It only seats about 130 indoors, but you can get, several hundred outdoors. And the theater has a garage door that opens both ways. So you can have an indoor or an outdoor presentation. But the last 2 decades, the library has tried to run this space. And it's always been one staff member who's working crazy hours and, trying to do the programming. So Nigel Brooks was our recent, and when he retired, we were thinking, how are we going to find someone else? He was extremely talented. How do we find someone else who can do this? And, is this still the direction that we want to go? And then COVID happened. And so it gave us the opportunity to really, okay, let's step back and rethink, what is going to be the greatest public benefit. So it was determined from her, her interviews with community members and other local organizations and with stakeholders, that the most effective, probably the most logical thing is to have, instead of city staff running the facility, to have resident operators. So an experienced nonprofit organization that actually, will basically get the space for free in exchange for doing programming for the community. So of course, be able to do their own programming, but have the caveat that there is a certain amount of community programming that needs to happen. So we've engaged already Media Arts Center, who already has a really large presence in the City Heights area. And we're developing an agreement with them to operate the multimedia community access broadcasting hub, which will go in the office space behind the theater. And they've already been doing, they have a 10-year-long project that they've actually been doing in City Heights called City Heights Speaks, called Speak City Heights. And it's, they're doing a number of interviews with, it's a partnership they have with KPBS, funded by the California Endowment for the Humanities. And the funding was supposed to run out this year. They did get an extension for another year, but they were really wondering, how are we going to continue this really valuable program? And so I think that we've all kind of stepped in, almost the stars have aligned at the right time. That we've also done a number of different programs with Media Arts. They are going to have a space at the new UCSD extension at Park and Market. So there's just this synergy now, and giving us the opportunity to be able to tie the space, the theater or the broadcasting studio that we have here on the 4th floor of the Central Library with the one in City Heights. And so it's, it's kind of all coming together. The other part is an RFP process for someone to operate the Black Box Theater. And we're working with the Commission for Arts and Culture on this, hoping to get a theater group or a nonprofit organization that will really take over and run that space. Again, kind of a free lease for them, a no-cost lease for them, but they're responsible for all the programming and for supporting the community programming as well. And then, the city would still be the ones who absorb facility costs and update of maintenance and all of, that kind of stuff. And then we would have a city, of course, a city liaison that would work with both organizations. So we're hoping to start some of this programming in the July to August timeframe. Media Arts is ready to go with the broadcasting hub. We just need to get the equipment and put up some temporary walls and then go back and look at what we need for, you know, major construction to really build that space out. Also coordinating with the City Heights Town Council on how much space they will need. They have a large amount of space, and I've already talked to them that they don't need all of it. So we want to, you know, kind of work with them on the best way for us to be able to cohabitate that space. Also working on a funding model, and then partnering with community colleges and other universities, teaching artists to help us continue the programming for that. The one of the things that is also part of this is the park that's behind, and the Jeremy Henwood Memorial Park has always had kind of there's always been an issue with illegal activity that happens in that park. And it does, City Heights has a large homeless population. And the community has really been eager to take that park, you know, and do some more active programming. So we're looking at working with Parks and Recreation Department on doing some additional lighting, boosting the Wi-Fi in the park, and really kind of moving. There's some concrete tables that you could move out of the way to kind of open it up and create really kind of a better amphitheater experience. So I just, you know, we'll keep you updated as we go along and has the process. But this business plan is being turned into Price Charities for their interest in one continuing into the next phase. And then also any potential, you know, funding that they would like to put forward that we could also go out for, you know, a match with other organizations. There's some major things that probably need to happen, especially in the theater. If you've never been to the Black Box Theater, when you walk in the door, you almost walk onto the stage. So if there is a performance happening and you are late, you will interrupt the performance. So we would love to be able to build, you know, a lobby, a ticketing area. There's no green room. The green room is actually in the annex, and so people have to leave and go up the stairs. And so really wanting to do some significant improvements to that space. But I think this is great for the first step in getting there, and I'm really excited about it. So.
Misty, can I ask a question or two?
Yes, yeah, please.
I was just curious, as part of the RFP process, would you be asking, I guess, for ideas on how the respondents would be perhaps considering activating the park space or those kind of improvements that you're okay, so yeah. That'll be part of the request for proposals.
Yeah,
I think even sadly, I mean, hate to say it, but even if you don't select someone, they might come in with a really great idea, and that gives you an opportunity to farm some of those ideas, you know, in the process.
Yeah, and so it's looking at, we had a couple of, Patrick and Victoria went out, and you know, Patrick is so resourceful and knows a lot of theater professionals, and went out and had them look at the space and kind of give their thoughts on what needed to happen, you know, what needed to be updated and changed. And of course, but, you know, different theater organizations are going to come in and have, you're right, they're going to have so many different ideas for what could, you know, what could take place. And we're just really open to any and every idea. I want that. You know, it's such a great community asset that it should be used to the fullest, you know, its fullest potential. And we've never had the capacity to do that. So I'm excited to get someone in there that can really, you know, work more with the community and activate that space.
Great, thank you, Misty. Great update on City Heights. Coming together.
Yes, coming together. It's exciting. Some things actually where you see light at the end of the tunnel. So it's very exciting. And then the third thing on the agenda, guys, this is, so Steve Torres Roman is one of our librarians here. He's actually works in the Pauline Foster Teen Center, but he is the lead on a new initiative that the library has put together called Matchbook and it is, I guess it's a kind of glorified readers advisory, and I can tell you that I've used it and it's phenomenal. So I wanted him to come and tell you all about it, how it came to be. So Steve, take it away.
Thank you very much, Misty. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. So like Misty said, the Matchbook Initiative is essentially a reader's advisory program. We weren't able to have as much contact, obviously, with many of our patrons in person, yet we still have a lot of leisure readers out there who still want to know what the next good thing for them to read is. So now we have a survey set up online. And, if any of you or all of you would like to try it, we'd love to have you try it on our website, where the patron can come to the library, come to our website looking for a good book, and they can fill out the survey, give us the kinds of things they already enjoy, so we have something to work from. And then from that, we recommend 5 books, and we usually have some kind of summary or some kind of a link to an interview, a link to the catalog so they know they can check it out, or if it's an ebook, we have about 20 staff who are doing the responses to the patrons, and the staff each have their own specialties and expertise. So we're able to match, unlike if we were just sitting on the desk, you'd have to, whoever's sitting at the desk is the person you get. We can kind of distribute those requests to each librarian that matches their particular expertise and have them really engage with the patron. One of the nice things about this program, of course, is that while it is online, it's not an algorithm answering the patron's requests, right? There's still a personal connection. There's a knowledgeable professional who wants to encourage that love of reading, right? And when we give them books that they really enjoy, then that's a success for both of us. We've had over 100 requests answered since we started in mid-February, so things are going well on that front. Yeah, hoping that continues to attract a lot of readers.
That's so neat.
Thank you.
Wow, I love that, Stephen. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I'm
My
thinking,
pleasure.
and especially that it is a live person versus a shopping algorithm. If you like these yoga pants, you might like these pants. But I mean, it's that one-on-one, that connection is really special. And so love that.
Yeah, it's been great. And like Steve said, the biggest, what we've had is because we're not allowing people to browse, it's been really difficult for them to come in and kind of look at what they might want to read. But this is, giving them suggestions. And I signed up, and I'm a big fan of like psychological thrillers and stuff. And so, there was another librarian that likes those kind of books. She gave me recommendations, none that I had read, hadn't heard of them, and have read 3, and they're all excellent, but really tells you, this is why you might like this book because blah, 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 I mean, so it's not just try these, we're recommending these and this is why. So it really is a very personalized next, just kind of a next level reader's advisory. And I'm really, proud of it. Think it's an amazing service. So I would encourage you to sign up and get some recommendations.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Steve.
My pleasure.
I mean, that's just such next level, right? I mean, you think about, you ask your friends, and then some of your friends, well, they don't like the same things I like, and every 5th book might be something you enjoy. So let's talk to the expert. So that's really cool. All right. Anything else, Misty?
No, that's it. Pretty short.
That's all.
Yeah, short and sweet meeting. So.
All right. Is there any commissioner comments? Any questions, comments? Marshall.
If I could just throw on my D2 commissioner hat, I just want to thank everyone for supporting that curfew, and thanks for bringing it up, Misty. Just yesterday, I'm hearing sirens whip by my windows. I hop on the police scanner, and they encountered a guy over there who had a gun tried to stash it in one of the bins right outside the library and just took off on his car down Grand. Public safety, if I could just address it, continues to be a huge concern for me, not only for our D2 branches, but definitely at Central Library. E3 Civic High told me that their students, and we're talking about kids like 8 to 12 years old, right? They're witnessing people engaged in sexual acts outside the library, exposing themselves, injecting and foiling drugs. And the students have to seek counseling after this. The students or the parents are disenrolling their kids. So wherever we can, we really need to make sure we're making these libraries inviting and especially safe for our youth. So I just want to leave us with that. I mean, that's just extremely concerning.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's an excellent point, Marshall. And one of the, at Central, that's one of the reasons why we switched over to armed guards here. Never wanted to have to go that route, but knew by doing that we would get a different level of experience, and can say that Vic Slater, who is the head of security here, is phenomenal and done a phenomenal job in really kind of changing things around, and the school love him because he's out there in the mornings watching those kids and, moving people along. Also, I'll bring it up. The old Central Library has become somewhat of a public nuisance, and we are looking at alternatives for ways that we can address that. The problem is that there's no real way to move people along. They'll go somewhere else and then come back to that space. And because that is an empty building and a pretty much vacant block, there is a tent city in front of the old Central Library. And so we're trying to address that. But if that should come, I know you all get questions with library related things, if that should come to your attention or someone say something, we're working with the HOT team and the police department on solutions, but that's always been a problem. I mean, when we were at the old Central Library, we would leave and step over people to leave the building. So that's always been a big issue there.
Thank you, Marshall, for bringing that concern forward. And just to make sure everyone saw Raul's comment in the chat that he'll be increasing exterior patrols immediately. Thank you for that, Raul. It is certainly concerning. Bob had his hand up. Bob?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, thank you, Marshall, for mentioning that. Adding on to what Misty said, the library works closely with the police department. In that instance in Pacific Beach, I was notified right away because the police went up to the library staff to see if they had a clip of the person, and they did. We work with the city attorney's office to make sure that we can release taped information, but as long as it's not involving people coming into the library or using the library, we can use some of those cameras, and OB has some really good cameras. So just letting you know that we're in constant communication with the police department too.
Great, thank you. And I'm happy to hear about that, the update for the curfew. I remember that coming across our plates a while back. It's unfortunate times, as people are out of work and there are still continue to be unsheltered individuals. I think every major city has this issue, and thank you, Marshall, for continuing to bring that forward. And I know that the library staff it's something that's very top of mind, as we've all talked about security issues and concerns, and have increased the budget to reflect that higher level of security is noted and appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's something that the city, I feel like, understands now, kind of the situation, and is, helping us respond to that. I did want to share with you something that was really on this, topic that was really cool that happened last week. Mara Elliott came to our library managers meeting to present a commendation for an outstanding San Diegan to one of our library assistants, Annalisa Gamboa, who noticed at her branch a man that was in the children's area. He did not have any children, but he was in the children's area, and she was kind of watching him, and she saw him lay down on the floor and take a picture underneath a pregnant woman's skirt. And she went up to him, told him, "I know what you're doing." She filmed her interaction with him. He quickly left, but she reported it and reported it to the police department. And turns out when the district attorney's office started investigating that he has been doing this in several different places. And so they did arrest him, and he is registered as a sex offender now because of her report. So, that just goes, we keep telling our staff that when you see something, say something. And that's one of those, she really has probably protected a lot of future people from a traumatic experience. So we're super, super proud of her.
That's wonderful. It's an unfortunate incident, but I'm sure very proud of the staff, for stepping up to a potentially scary situation, and kudos to staff for following protocol to take it forward and hopefully, get this person some help, but also keep them away from children and from this happening to other folks. So, all right. Well, if there is any other comment from the commissioners? Otherwise, I wanted to thank everyone for attending. Continue all of the great work of the library and the foundation and the Friends. And we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting on May 5th. All right. Thank you so much. We will go ahead and adjourn. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for your efforts and your time.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Thank you.